Всем приветики, и с вами Диля, блогер. Ну что, сегодня у нас второй выпуск моего подкаста, и сегодня у нас будет интервью с приглашенным гостем. И угадайте, кто мой приглашенный гость. Конечно же, мой муж, жених, молодой человек, но фактически уже муж, потому что я вышла замуж за американца, и сегодня интервью будет в основном на английском языке. Мы приложим русские субтитры, так что для тех, кто не понимает английский язык, я надеюсь, что вам тоже будет интересно. В моих подкастах вы найдете информацию не только о блогинге и продюсировании и продажах, но и также интервью с людьми, которые проживают в Штатах. Я думаю, эти интервью вам будут интересны, потому что все-таки у нас есть определенная разница менталитетов, и всегда интересно знать и наблюдать за человеком, который проживает в другой стране. Вот. Ну что, поехали? So, hello, baby. That's so weird to do interview with you. But, yeah. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, baby. How you doing?
I'm good. Это очень странно. Ну ладно. Будет очень смешно, мне кажется. So,
Давай, пожалуйста.
Okay. By the way, he speaks in Russian a little bit, so maybe...
Я понимаю немного.
Yeah, let's just, warm up and just let's talk in Russian. Привет, как дела?
Хорошо, спасибо. Как дела?
Хорошо. Какая твоя профессия?
Йой? Я профессии?
Я по профессии.
Я по профессии бизнесмен.
Да, очень хорошо. All right. So, we actually going to start today with question to you. Who are you? Tell about yourself. What are you doing? And what are your hobbies? How old are you?
I feel like I'm about to do like a NFL draft. Don Tucheroni, both Providence High School, Community College, Rhode Island, defensive tackle. No,
Seriously, пожалуйста, that's my podcast. Be serious, okay?
29-year-old male, American male, about 5'8", 185 pounds. Well, a little bit about myself. I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. So my whole family's from Providence. So I lived there my whole life until recently when we moved to Charlotte. And let's see, how much information do you want?
Like,
do you want me to go way back? I can go back to my childhood.
I just want to hear what, basically, what is your work?
Okay.
What do you do for work? And yeah, just that the previous information was enough. Yes.
Okay. I'm obsessed with early retirement. I don't want to work till I am in my 60s, 70s, maybe even 50s if I don't have to. I mean, I'm going to work anyways, probably. It's not like I don't want to work. I just don't want to have to work. Okay. So I want to have enough money to retire early. So yeah, a mentor of mine brought me back from Bali to take over his business that he started 30 years ago with his son, who's my best buddy. Mm-hmm. And we launched another small business that we've been running now for a little over a year. So that's primarily my life, is I'm just working.
Right. What are the businesses you are running?
Well, Bobby's business is a copier wholesale business. Mm-hmm. So you know a little bit about that. We buy and sell wholesale copier devices. So we take in, anywhere from 1,000 machines or so a month, and we put them on shipping containers and sell them overseas. For the most part is where we sell them. And then the other business that we started is a water cooler business. So we lease water coolers, like, companies that use like the 5-gallon jugs. We do bottle systems. Mm-hmm. So you put the unit in, it's a rental. We rent it, we service it. And we've got almost 300 units out so far this about a year or so in 12 months, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. We will come back to your professional career a little later.
Mhm.
So I just want to explain my followers and want to tell them a story of how we met. And then we'll come back to your career because I have a professional questions to you as well. Because you are in sales and the question is going to be about this. But again, let's warm up and don't put too much difficult information at first. And I want to ask you about our relationships. And do you remember the day we met?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me your perspective on our first meeting day?
Well, I was at my favorite coffee shop in Bali, Indonesia, Kopi Desa, and I would go to so desperate, so desperate, like up, down,
It's
down.
okay.
Don't want to encourage it too much. I mean, it's a little too much.
Okay.
Steak, and I would go there every morning for breakfast. I would get avocado toast, a double shot of espresso, and I would read a book or work on something that I was working on. I don't know what I was working on, but I would be doing something, mostly reading.
You were working on your state of mind.
Exactly. So one day you showed up and I would sit in this one section of the coffee shop where there's one or two chairs and then there's like a little kind of couch type seating thing over there. And behind that was the only like plug outlet, I believe, in the whole place, which is why I would sit there so that I could charge my phone and, you know, whatever. And then you came by and asked if you could charge your phone there.
Yeah, it was laptop.
Yeah. Oh, your laptop. And I was like, no, leave me alone.
No, it wasn't like this, you liar. So the story was actually, I really needed to charge my laptop and yeah, it was the only spot where you could charge your laptop. So I came to Don and I asked him if I can charge my laptop and sit a little bit with him if he doesn't mind. And honestly, at first I thought that he's Russian, but just to be polite, I started to speak in English because what if not? Because he looked like Russian. Yeah, he said yes. And I started to work on my laptop. I was charging it. And I remember how he was reading a book like this. He was sitting like this. He was reading a book. He was wearing glasses. And he was like looking at book, looking at me, looking at the book, looking at me. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he's like, so, what are you working on?
That's probably true.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Do you remember first time when I really like catch your attention?
Well, honestly, so I remember, I think it was the next day. The next day, yeah, no, that's not the answer. I'm being honest. Yeah, no, the next day okay. I was obviously at Kopi Desa. I mean, I literally went to Kopi Desa every day. I wish I was in Bali so I can go back to Kopi Desa every day. I love that place so much. So I went there to meet with a friend, this German chick that I was
he was hanging out with other German girl, other girl.
Yeah. But it was not like...
Right. That was really into him.
She was really into me, but I was not into her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was not my type. But she was cool. She was very interesting personality. You know, just a very interesting person. Like, you know, big traveler, you know. Yeah. So anyways, that was part of the reason probably why D fell for me was because I had some other woman glomming onto me. It's just a fact of like, you know, like how attraction works. I mean, this is, especially for women. And if you deny that, you're lying to yourself. So we were there and then you showed up and then I was like, oh, you know, pull up a chair, like, you know, hang out with us or whatever. And there's really like, you know, for anyone who doesn't know Bali has like a really cool, amazing vibe where like, you know, like everyone's just really fucking chill, you know?
Yeah, that's
and like,
true.
So like, you're just like, oh yeah, come hang out, like come sit down. Something about it, like you go to Bali and you're just so relaxed. So you talk to everybody. So yeah, so I invited you to join us, and it was so awkward because you and her did not get along.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it was you or her, but they were like being very petty with each other and like not cool. And then D made the move on me. She asked me if I wanted to go to the gym with her, or if you could come to the gym with me.
Because I was so much into, that's true.
That's Jack.
I was so much into trainings that time, into gym, I was making my courses on fitness, on yoga. And I actually made one course, yoga course in Bali, and Don was also experiencing it with me. But it was a good experience. And he was talking about gym, and I guess that's why like I made a move, because I was like, oh, cool, he's going to the gym too, so we should go together. Yeah.
So you were like, oh, we should go to the gym, and I was like, you know, obviously I was down.
Did I tell you that I'm going to train you, or like something like that?
You said you were a trainer. I don't remember that
But I was like, I think I said like, oh, let me train you or something.
Maybe. I don't remember that piece. But I do remember, we went to the gym. But I can't remember, like, this also happened at Kopi Desa. Might have been the first night. You were going to Kuta, to Imigrasi, to do something with your visa, to get a visa extension or something.
Oh, that's true.
And you were like, oh, I'm going with some friends, blah, 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 blah. And I think I invited myself to that. I was like, oh, I'll come with you or something. I was like, because I have to do the same thing. You know, I had to get my visa renewed too or something.
Yeah.
So I remember that, although we never did that, did we?
I'm not sure.
I don't think remember. We did. But that was also like, I think that's how I inadvertently got your number. As I was like, oh, like, yeah, we should go to Imigrasi. I'll come with you or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, we exchanged numbers because of that, I think. I think. And then I think we went to the gym. Yeah, because the first night, the first day we met, that happened. Right? And we didn't say anything maybe we texted each other like, oh, when are you going to go or something, but that was it. And then we saw each other again the next day when I invited you to sit with the German girl. And during that day when we were sitting down, that's when you said, let's go to the gym. And we left, I forgot her name, but we left her to go to the gym.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we left together to the gym, and we left that German girl alone.
We probably invited her, but she didn't want to come.
She wasn't like into sports much.
No, she wasn't into sport. Get a load of this one.
I'm just kidding. Okay, cool. All right. So when was the first time when I really catch your attention?
Yeah. So
Caught.
I was getting to that. Very good. Maladies. So the gym, at that point, I was still just like not even thinking about it, honestly.
Me too.
Yeah. That's a lie.
He wasn't
She was playing games the whole time.
No.
So I wasn't thinking about it. I started to think about it. I invited you to go to, what was the name of that beach? Where Single Fin is?
Uluwatu?
In Uluwatu, but I can't remember the name of that beach. But anyways, with the cliffs and everything, beautiful spot. So I invited you there to show you that spot. And we went swimming and we were like talking, and then we got dinner. I think that was when I started to like think about it a little bit.
Not when I send you voice messages with my sexy voice.
That started after.
Oh, that was after.
That was after our trip. Because we drove from Ubud to Uluwatu, which is like, that was like an hour or something drive, I remember. It was a long drive.
Yeah, that wasn't.
It was not a short drive. So we drove all the way down for that, and then we came back. And then that's when I was like, oh, this chick's kind of cool. You started to interest me.
Okay.
And then a few days after that, you were like, you texted me, and we were sending each other voice messages, and she would send me voice messages with the most blatantly intentional, like, seductive voice you've ever heard. Where you'd be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna do this, or maybe we should do that, or, oh. That's like how you were talking to me. And you asked if you could stay with me through Nyepi Day.
True, because that's a really weird thing.
Because your yoga friend
My friend that I was staying with, Nyepi is like a New Year's day in Bali, and everyone is just staying at home. It's super quiet in
They kill the
island.
electricity, no driving's allowed.
Yeah, like you can't be outside, and you can't do anything basically except like praying, meditating, just like stay at home and be quiet. So, and I was living by that time with a friend of mine. She was like older than me. She was like around like 50 years old or something. And she was just really into all these practices, like
she was doing a fast,
and also like some kind of not yoga, but like some type of exercises, but they are connected to meditation. And so I asked her what she's gonna do on a Nyepi Day. She's like, I'm just not gonna talk to anyone, and I am just going to meditate all day and sit in one position. You want to join me? So I was like, I really didn't want to sit in one position all day long and meditate. And that's why I asked Don what is he doing on Nyepi Day and if I can stay with him. And honestly, for the first time when I asked him, I didn't mean to like stay with him, like stay. I mean, like for a night.
What else were you gonna do?
But see, when I asked you, I didn't know that you have to be like. I thought that you can come back like at night, come back home. Yeah, but then I realized that my friend again told me that you have to be at night, like at home too. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna stay with Dawn. It's gonna be more fun. Like, I don't know, we can do something, watch a movie. Well, we actually watched Stars. The stars were amazing.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, the stars. Yeah.
They were amazing. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Whatever. So basically, yeah, I freaked out.
That was when she finally caught my attention.
So let's move on. And let me ask you a question. What were your stereotypes about Russian women before you started to date one?
Well, let's get one thing straight. You're an imposter, Russian. I've been saying this since day one. You are a Western girl, American girl at heart.
Okay.
You're not, yeah. You're just, you don't look Russian. You don't have a Russian accent. It's crazy. You sound American. I would have had no idea. I don't think I had any idea or wouldn't have had any idea that you were Russian unless you said something. And you probably did. But I didn't have any stereotypes about Russian women. I'd never spent a minute thinking about it. The only thing that I had maybe stereotyped about Russia at large, and what's not even a stereotype, the only time I ever thought about Russia was obviously with US, Russia, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And I actually respected Putin. Like, I liked Putin. I thought he was like a strong leader, national leader. I respected Putin, So it's kind of a weird position to have, but I did. And then we talked more and more about it. And then I started respecting him a lot less once I heard what you had to say. But that's really it. I never thought anything particular about Russian women.
Okay. What about Russians in general? Not
nothing.
Women.
No,
okay.
no
stereotypes.
No stereotypes.
Okay.
I didn't know anything. I mean, vodka, drinking,
right.
Like that kind of shit. But that's it. Like just.
How true is it? Like, you've been to Russia. Like, what what you think about vodka and
I mean, I went
drinking
during the holidays, so it's like not, if you go anywhere in the holidays, everybody's drinking anyways. So that's really a bad time to try and, weed out if that's a stereotype or not. But I mean, yeah, you guys, shots. I mean, I was shit-faced at your mom's house on New Year's Eve, petting your grandmother, my babula, freaking her out with all of my kisses and hugs. But yeah, anyways, no stereotypes. Yeah, no, really.
Okay. So you've been dating before women from America, maybe from other countries that I don't know. But anyways, do you think, is there any difference between a Russian girl and American girl?
No, you're all equally insane.
Okay. You heard that? Should I tell him now or later?
No, I'm kidding. No, but it's, no, I mean, people are people. I mean, yeah, there are variations.
Just be honest.
Yeah, I am. Like,
okay.
There are variations in temperament, obviously, but no.
Okay.
No, I mean, no, there's really, I don't really notice that much of a difference.
Okay, cool. Let me check, because I have some questions here, because I don't want to forget anything. Okay, yeah, you've been to Russia. How did you like Russia?
I loved it. Yeah, it was awesome. Amazing.
What did you like the most?
Well, I love history. I'm a history buff. I mean, I don't study history, but I just love reading about history and whatnot. I love historical things. I like old architecture, old art. So Kazan's very old, so it's a very beautiful old city. It was very clean. It was so decorated too. Like, I had never seen a city go through that much effort to, decorate itself. So that was very impressive. I was, the lights and everything around New Year's were beautiful. It was very clean. There wasn't a lot of trash. It felt very safe. Felt way safer than, most major U.S. cities, for sure.
That was actually very interesting that you mentioned it, because, like, I always thought that U.S. is like pretty safe, but after you started to say that, I started to appreciate that actually in Russia it's pretty safe. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's dangers in each country for different situations. Like, for example, if a Russian protests the war, they can get thrown in jail.
That's true. Yeah.
Or will get thrown in jail. Here, you won't. But, you could get shot getting a fucking gallon of milk at the grocery store just because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's the scary part of the U.S. Yeah. Okay.
Take the good with the bad.
What do you think in general, not like comparing girls, but like, do you think Americans are much different from Russians?
No.
Like the mindset and stuff?
No, I think people are people. For the most part. I mean, the Balinese are the only culture that I've ever come across that I really felt stood apart from other cultures.
Like, you felt a little different?
Yeah, like the Balinese are so kind, and they just have this pure spirit, and they're just so sweet. Every Balinese person, not every Balinese person, but my God, like 90% of them are just so sweet. I mean, they're just amazing. And then everyone else in the world, so far from what I've met, are pieces of shits, like compared to the Balinese especially. Oh my God. Russians are no more pieces of shit than US. We're all pieces of shit.
Very kind of you to talk about people like that. Okay. So we're coming back to your career, and I know that you're in sales, and can you tell me more about it? What are you doing in sales? Like, are you running sales managers, or are you doing sales yourself?
Mm-hmm. Right now, well, we have two companies. One, the main company, CopX, doesn't have a sales team. It's just, myself, my partner, Alex, his mom. It's a family business, so his mom does sales, and his dad, Bob, the owner, does sales too.
So everybody does
there's
sales.
4 of us doing sales. In a couple of years, when it's just Alex and I, it'll just be the 2 of us. We'll probably hire someone then, but I do direct sales for that. So I'm in a direct sales role for that. And then the water cooler business, I'm like it's a small company, so titles are always funny. I don't have an official title, but I am basically I oversee all the sales. So we have a sales manager who is responsible for running all the day to day.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, our roles are still kind of taking shape because I'm so busy with the expansion down here for CopX. I don't know exactly what it'll look like in 2 or 3 years, but really what it is from a sales management perspective is just running the numbers and managing Melissa, who's our sales manager.
Okay.
So it's really just managing her and then, overseeing kind of everything else and, making sure the ship is moving in the right direction.
Okay. What do you think? What is the most difficult part in sales? I'm asking this because you know that my blog and Instagram, it's about blogging, it's about sales in Instagram, how to promote your services better. And there are so many people who are honestly struggling with sales. And that's why you are very experienced in sales niche. So I want to ask you as an experienced guy, what is the most difficult part in sales for you? And for people too.
The most difficult thing about sales is, sales is all a mental game. Anyone in sales knows that. If you've dabbled in or your job involves some sales like what you do and you've struggled with it, you can probably relate, but it's 100% mental. And what I mean by that is, for example, I have this expansion going on right now down in the Carolinas. I, for the most part, am always busy convincing myself and, visualizing the success of the business. But it is easy when things slow down and you have been working hard at it or you've been doing other things for the business and you're not having a really good week or month. It's the mental stress that you put yourself under and you start to think is this possible? Can I do this? And you start to doubt your ability to do it. So, and that takes different forms. It's not always as obvious as that. You could be making excuses for yourself and you have no idea. I used to do this when I was younger. I would make excuses about, my manager. I'd make excuses about how difficult it was to do the job or, it's impossible to sell this at this price or it's impossible, to get this many calls done or this many cold calls, whatever. You have all these excuses, but really in reality, you're just afraid to fail. And you don't, and so you kind of shield it with this it's impossible. You start blaming and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I found that the most important thing, you asked what the most difficult thing is, but really the best way to answer that question is to tell you what the most important thing about sales is. And the most important thing about sales is mindset. And all it is an undying belief and need that you will and can hit your goal. So if your goal is to, sell $5,000 worth of this every month, I would make it 10, that'd be my goal. I'd be I'm going to double it. I'm going to make it 10 and I'm going to convince myself that beyond a reasonable doubt, I'm going to hit that goal. And I just keep reaffirming that to myself and I'm going to hit it and I'm going to hit it and I'm going to hit it. And then you just attract it and it'll happen.
Yeah, that's really good insight. You really have to believe in your success.
Yeah.
For sure. Otherwise, it's in sales, even in blogging, when you sell through blog, it's really difficult to sell if you're not believing that you actually can sell
Yeah, you'll fail.
Yeah, you'll just fail. And it's not even you may fail even if you believe, though. You may fail, like, especially at the beginning. But it's very important not to stop believing. Like, I feel like it really inspires and motivates you to not stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, blogging is totally different than sales. Sales, you have.
Well, we have sales in blogging. We
sure, but you're building,
another infrastructure,
marketing funnels.
Yeah.
Digital marketing funnels from different platforms and stuff. So it's harder to directly impact your buyer. Like if you're in sales and I'm sitting across from you and I'm selling you a water cooler, for example, I have a lot of control over how this situation goes because I am sitting across the table from you.
That's a good insight, guys. Actually, when you do blogging in sales, it's very important to have control over your followers somehow. And there are actually ways to do that. And you may know this actually, or you may not know it, but what I'm going to say, you always can build a connection with a particular followers that have been following you for a long time and always reacting to your stories or anything like that, and actually just start a conversation in direct messages, and kind of that's the way you may like control or like at least know what they think about your product, so that's the way. It's kind of the same, or close them on a call, like a free call, because like if you have a lot of followers or like not even a lot of followers, it doesn't matter. If you see that the follower is active and he likes everything you post, what you really can do is just to, if you see that he's active, invite him on a call. And he's active about your professional stories or whatever, like professional content. So yeah, we kind of have the control about on followers, like if we really work with our page.
Yeah, if you work directly, speak directly to
and that's what I teach also my students, is to try to work with your followers more directly. So not just, spread out the information to like your social media to nowhere. Basically, you have to know who are you talking to, like in your mind.
Right.
You even have to understand like who would you like from your followers to be on your consultation or in your mentorship or whatever. So that was my insights. Anyways, okay. Very particular question about sales. How do you usually start your conversation when you sell? How sales work in the US? Like, you're working on a calls mostly, right?
Yeah.
How do you start your conversation? Like, what is the most important thing when you start a conversation with a person who you want to sell?
Well, prerequisite is you have to have a good reason as to why you're calling. So you have to have, you have to have a reason that's going to get their attention, and you have to get it quick. First thing you have to do is, have a strong value proposition for your product or service, whatever it is you're calling. You usually, if you're good at what you're doing, you're turning that into a question, or you're opening with a question. So you always want to open with a question. You're never going to call someone and be like, hey, this is Don. I've got this amazing thing that I want to sell you. That is horrible. You'll fall flat on your face. So, you want to call and open with a question. So like, if you're selling blogging services or whatever, you could say something like, hi, is this D? You're supposed to say hello.
Hello. That's D.
You just answered the phone. So, yeah. So you say, hi, this is D. Hi, D. Yeah. Hey, this is Don from whatever, such and such company. Hey, listen, I noticed that you are interested in potentially getting your blog going, getting some more followers. Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
So you ask a question. Oh, that is true. Oh, cool. And then, depending on what kind of industry you're in, usually you want to set up a call. You don't want to dive right into a pitch or more questions. I mean, you can to qualify them a little more. But ideally what you want to do is, oh, you are, okay, hey, listen, real quick, I know you're jammed, I know you're busy. What I do is XYZ. So I help, bloggers achieve this and that. With beginner bloggers, we do this. We can take your followers from here to here. I have a couple slots open next week. I was wondering if you had some time on Tuesday or Wednesday to have a quick 15-minute call to discuss what your goals are. Maybe we could help you out. Does Tuesday or Thursday work better for you?
Yeah, I say Tuesday. And also it's very a cool strategy to tell them, give them two options, like Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah, you always give them two options.
Yeah.
Or you say, Tuesday, does one or two, and you're always doing two options. So it's, does Tuesday or Wednesday work better for you? Tuesday? Okay, how about morning or afternoon? Afternoon? Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to wear clothes or no clothes? Should we drink or should we not drink?
I actually learned this from you. I was saying that I was actually using that strategy that you gave me to give people options on either you want to do this day or that day.
Right.
And let's schedule a call. And so I actually got this idea and the strategy from you, where you put a client in a situation where he has to choose between two options, when to schedule the next call, like either this or that day. So that's very helpful. Thank you, Babichka, for this advice. And anything else you want to say important for sales? What is important for sales?
No, I mean, it really is just a mindset game, primarily.
Mindset game, okay. My next question is, how do you react if you hear no on your sales proposition?
No doesn't come as often as maybe.
Oh, how do you work with maybe? Because maybe is
because no is very rare. Like somebody just saying, once you become good at engaging people, you won't get no a lot. You'll very, very rarely get no. No can actually become refreshing because you're like, okay, I know where this person stands. Maybe is the killer. Maybe is where you get stuck. Maybe to me means not right now, or that's when I hear maybe, I hear no, I'm not ready to make this decision. But I mean, it's just nothing. I don't do anything. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it can bother me sometimes.
What advice do you have for people who sell their products and stuff when they hear from clients maybe then?
Well, I mean, it really depends on what you're selling, what the situation is, why they said maybe in the first place. I mean, I can't give any specific advice.
Like, for example, let's talk about me, right? If I hear maybe from my clients, what should I do? Or what does it mean? My niche.
Yeah. I mean, it can mean a number of things. It can mean they're not interested and they just don't want to say it. It can mean that they genuinely need to think about it. It can mean that maybe they want to talk to other vendors and get other quotes. I mean, it could mean a lot of things.
True. Okay, cool. How long are you in sales? 10 years,
Almost
right?
10 years.
Have you ever worked in some other niche other than sales?
Yeah.
What was that?
I was in the masonry union.
What you were doing?
Construction.
Okay, cool. Do you want to achieve in nearest 5, maybe 10 years?
Well, in 10 years, I'd like to have CopEx be at, I would say, realistically, CopEx will be doing 10 million a year. No. CopEx should be doing 12 million a year. We have these goals set out. We have 15 set out, but we've been kind of focusing on the cooler business. I think that's where we're going to focus more in the future. But I would say bring CopEx from 6 million to 12 million a year. And then we want to place in 10 years, we want to place 8,000 water coolers.
Okay. So if we talk financially, how much money you see yourself making a year in like 5 years?
Probably between 300 to 500,000.
Okay. Okay. Can I ask you how much money do you make now a year?
Between 125 to 200,000.
Okay. Do you know if it's a regular salary for every American or it's above, a little above?
The average American household brings in, I think, like 87,000. That's 2 people.
2 people.
The average household.
So with like 87,000, you can live your life good. Like you can.
Not lately. Not with inflation and everything becoming more and more expensive since COVID and the war in Russia, the war in Ukraine. It's gotten very expensive. So no. To make 87,000, you're just getting by.
Okay. So what's your thoughts on how much you should make if you live in the US a year then? To live like a good life, like rent an apartment, have a car, a good car, go to restaurants every weekends or to the bar or whatever.
Between 100 to 150,000.
Yeah.
That's like I've been making between 100 to 200,000. I don't know, since before I left for Bali, so I've been in that range. But I'm also, have been alone. I don't have a family.
True. And now he has me.
Yeah. So,
but
I've been more than comfortable with what I've been making. I've traveled so much, I buy whatever I want to buy. I mean, within reason. I mean, I'm not,
right.
I don't have very expensive needs,
right.
so,
yeah.
But I do what I want to do and I'm comfortable.
Okay. Cool. Well, from my side, I want to tell you, thank you for everything that we have, because, you moved me to the US, you helped me, and it was our goal to live together, to build our life together. And, if not you, I wouldn't be here, and, everything wouldn't be happening right now. So I feel like we are doing more than great. Like we're doing really good. And, I know that we're going to do even more and achieve even more in the future. So I wish and I hope that all your dreams will come true and my dreams will come true too. So, and together we can achieve a lot. And thank you for being on my YouTube channel and supporting me on this and doing a podcast with me. I hope you enjoyed it.
You're welcome, baby. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope that you liked it, and see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, baby. It was a lot of fun.